It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
Hi, I'm Becca James.
The girl with two first names?
You got it.
I love it. I'm sorry. We're Frank Murphy and Becca James, your go-to MCs for the Karns community.
A little bit of a humble brag there.
There's nothing humble about that. In the Shopper News, Nancy Anderson wrote that we are becoming the go-to MCs for the Karns community because we've done 3 events.
I'm not mad about it, though. I love the Karns community.
Well, Becca, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, always.
For those who watch all the time, you know Becca's been here before. You also know that Becca and I would have, I guess, this past July was, I don't remember the date anymore because everything's a blur. We hosted the Karns Fairest of the Fair together.
Yep.
This December, oh my gosh, that was this month.
Yeah, it was only 2 weeks ago. It wasn't even 2 full weeks. I don't know. It was December 2nd. And it was, it was rainy, but it was still so much fun.
We hosted the Karns Christmas Parade for the second year in a row.
Second year in a row. And did you notice that the floats are becoming just bigger and better?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they do next year.
Well,
it's going to be a lot of fun.
The article that Nancy Anderson wrote in the Shopper News talks about how they changed some of the way they organized the Karns Parade because they had what you would call in the past an open parade. Anybody who showed up before the parade started and could line up in the Ingles parking lot, and they just were in it. Oh. And they changed the way they did the parade this year for us. It says in the article that they started asking people to pre-register so that Becca and Frank could read their description as they roll past.
I just thought it meant day of. I didn't realize they had to pre-register.
Well, they're asking them. Yeah, there's a link on the website. You can register up to the last minute, but they're asking people this for the.
Well, we do appreciate that because it's always nice to know who we're going to be announcing when we're right there.
Later that day, I did the Rocky Hill Parade, which is not on YouTube. It's just over the PA system. Mm-hmm. You and I are on the YouTube doing the Karns Parade. Well, on the Rocky Hill Parade, they have a very limited number of slots because they can only close that road for 45 minutes or whatever it is. And they fill up, they sell out of slots. So, so we have a book. It's all set in stone, really. There's no question about who's in the parade. Plus, they have us go and meet all the floats and entries beforehand. Oh, so it's
gotta shake hands and kiss babies beforehand.
It's nice but it's a smaller. It's weird because it's a smaller parade, but a bigger crowd packed into a smaller area. Oh, there's this combination of bigs and smalls.
I've never been out to that one.
I'd recommend it. It's a lot of fun. They have a little festival with live reindeer who apparently live nearby in Rocky Hill.
I'm sorry, the reindeer live in Rocky Hill?
Well, no.
Is that when they're not at the North Pole?
They live at the North Pole. Sorry, kids.
They just vacation here, right?
They have some summer home.
Their summer home. That makes sense.
And I'm just shell-shocked about how recent that was. Mainly because I've been behind in doing Frank and Friends show episodes and every other thing. In fact, I almost forgot to tell you to please ring that bell for notifications. Hit the subscribe button. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers ASAP. On YouTube. We're also on your audio podcast apps. And you can find our fabulous Frank and Friends show merch online at frankandfriendshow.com/store.
Now, are you still selling the beach towels even though it's winter?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm having trouble with the store because you can buy stuff from it. Like listener April Estes bought the bucket hat and put a picture, and I know that because she brought it to the Fountain City Duck Pond and modeled it.
Oh, I love it.
So that was the perfect place because where else would you want to see a bucket hat than at a duck pond? It made total sense to me. So if you have your bucket hat picture, you should send it to us from wherever.
Yeah, tag Frank and Friends Show on all the social medias.
Well, so you can buy all that stuff. Well, the company has added some new items that I would like to brand with the Frank and Friends logo, like a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I know, but I swear every time I go on that website to try to add something, the site crashes on me, and I cannot figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Because it's most likely user error.
Well, my friend Bean and his podcast partner Allie actually switched merch sites because of it. They were also having trouble, so they went to a site that has fewer items, but they seem to be consistent. It's just the stuff their viewers and listeners would want, which is mostly shirts and hats.
Gotcha. You might have to think about that.
I may. Anyway, so here we are. Obviously, it's Christmas motif. Yeah. My wife, Jerry the Brave, this morning, before I was even out of bed, before I came down, and I came down, and like the red tablecloth was here, the garland was here, and it was just magically transformed from Thanksgiving to Christmas.
Which is really great that she did that for you.
It is. And then she says to me, and thank you, by the way, for moving the Christmas tree, because it was right there. We brought it upstairs. We got it there. But when you have a spouse who's a musician, there's no time at Christmas.
No, because I bet she's doing concerts almost nightly.
Rehearsals nightly,
yeah,
and concerts every week, basically, yeah, and or a church service, and so she says to me, "Thanks for moving the Christmas tree into the living room." I'm like, "Yeah, I did that over the weekend." She's like, "You did not." So Monday, maybe? Yeah, no way. Anyway, it's been at least 2 days, I think 3, since I moved it, but and I keep waiting for her to notice, thinking,
she's just too busy to notice.
She just assumes that I would do that, but no, she really did finally notice, and she was shocked.
Well, I mean, because she can be as busy as you.
She is as busy as me.
Because you will like to overextend yourself. I know I overextend myself all the time. I had 2 work events in 4 days, and I booked them going into it, going, this is going to be a lot, and I'm going to be exhausted. And sure enough, I did it anyway, because I just...
But you're a person who was used to working those insane hours in radio.
But I haven't been all year, which is the great part of it.
Because you got a real job now, right?
Yeah, I have a real job. I work for Knoxville Area Transit, so the buses, and so the first event was we did a holiday party for kids so they could come meet Santa. We had a free gift for each child, which was a rap book, and we took donations to be able to purchase those for them. The Muse, Tyrone on Phones, who used to be on the Mark and Kim show, he's now the marketing director for the Muse.
And the Muse is a children's museum.
Yes, so
at
he came out with some of his staff and some volunteers and had a children's event. It was a great event.
It's fantastic.
But events take a lot of work and a lot of planning. Like, we'd literally been planning this since the summer.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I was in charge of planning our employee luncheon, and so I did that for this past Tuesday. So I did just go ahead and get Moe's Catering, and they did an amazing job. Nice. They did all the
Moe's,
where they did all the things for us. It was really great. But then I, still had like the photo booth area, and I had to get the invitations to our employees. Then we always provide we make new calendars for the new year, and we have like a little bag for all the employees. So there was just, again, a lot of planning and preparation. And so I've been crazy for the last 2 weeks getting everything done.
And this harkens back to your experience doing radio promotions while you also were on the air simultaneously.
But I used to have a little bit more of a team behind me, whereas, I had help for the actual day of events, but most of the pre-planning and everything was all on me.
Yeah.
So it was a lot, and I'm tired.
I bet. Well, like I said, with me, just realizing that the parade was not a month and a half ago.
No, it was only a few weeks ago.
A few days. I mean, if you do the math, it wasn't really just days ago, because I did overextend myself again this year.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, what would I have given up? Everything I did because I would enjoy.
Yeah.
And it harkens back to Scholars Bowl. The reason the show went on hiatus for 2 months is because, as I talked about in the last episode, I got really involved in the preparation of the Scholars Bowl questions, because I found a few of the old-timey ones that I wanted to show you.
Oh.
This were the ones that I was trying to...
Are these on typewriter?
Yeah, that's an IBM Selectric. This one is dot matrix printer.
The question is, can you answer this? Given a triangle with angles A, B, and C, if angle A has a measure of 40 degrees and angle B is equal to angle A, what is the measure of angle C?
Well, it has to add up to 180. So if 40... is 1, and the other is 40. So 40 plus 40 is 80. That leaves 180 minus 80 is 100.
That's correct, but you've also seen this before.
Well, I proved my work.
You did. There's a little picture.
I mean, I know one of the questions we have.
He filled it out.
I put a question on the show: is how many degrees are in a triangle? And the math guy on the show said, "That's too easy. That's like grade school." I'm like, okay.
But we're radio people, Frank.
Yes.
That's a little more complicated to us these days.
And this one, you can see, was when the show first started back in 1987. They bought questions from this guy, and they're still using them.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, but it's math. Math doesn't generally change.
Right. These are all math questions that happen to be... So anyway, I wanted them retyped and bigger font and made it easier for me to read.
So you had to do it yourself?
Well, Jerry helped me. And they all said to me, "You're crazy."
You,
they said, the people on the show said, "You're crazy. You're making it too hard. You're doing too much work." And I said, "I know, because I'm taking over what they used to do, and I'm doing it much more difficult in a much more difficult fashion. But the flip side is, I made it easier for myself when I'm hosting the show, So we took all the, did the hard stuff here at the table by reorganizing the questions and making them easier. So I'm flying through them on the air because I'm not stumbling and bumbling trying to, read.
Hold on, kind of like you got to see.
Let's start this
so
crossed
everything's
out.
like crossed out, scribbles. I have no idea.
Well, here's what it originally said. Originally, the question said, "Listen carefully. Here's a mathematical toss-up question." So I don't have time for that.
I can just see you talking like this on your game show.
And then you add in, and then in the middle of the math question it says, for 10 points, if the rectangular's perimeter is 1232 feet, you don't want to tell them that a number in the middle of a math question, an irrelevant number. So anyway.
Well, but these kids are also smarter than
super
us,
smart.
so I don't know if that would
smart.
trip them up the way it would trip us up.
So smart. The team that ultimately won says to me, Mr. Frank, if we win the tournament, would you go to lunch with us? And I said, sure, because I didn't think they had a chance. But they were delightful, and we went to Olive Garden. So there was that. And then as soon as that's over, I'm thinking, okay, well, we'll start doing shows again. And I guess that was I had 4 episodes of the Up Close show to record.
Okay,
Soon as
because you're
Scholars
also
Falls
doing the
over.
interview show.
So then it was 4 episodes of Up Close, and for that, I do a lot of work on the show. I book the guests, I write the questions,
You have to research the guests, and you have to really know about them, because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't realize. To make an interview look good, there's a jillion hours of prep work.
Right, so exactly. So we had interviewed Sam Venable, Patricia Robledo, Maestro Aram Demirjian, and Maestro Brian Salesky.
Yep.
And those will air in, I don't know the order, but I think those will air in January, February, March, April. Of 23.
Well, that's exciting.
And then we'll make new shows in April. So that's, so that was a lot. And then I think the same week as that, it was the parades.
Okay, so that was coming right off of Thanksgiving. So you did these all right before Thanksgiving.
I did 2 before and 2 after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then so we did the parades, which was Karns Parade in Rocky Hill.
Yeah.
And it felt like there was something else that weekend too. I can't even remember.
I think you did a Frank and Friends show out at Shadrack's.
Yes, that's right.
Because you had asked me about that, and I was just too booked to be able to do it. And I was like, I can't.
Forgot about it.
I would have loved to. My husband's like, oh, we should take the kids again. I'm like,
I'm almost done editing it. It's so much. I recorded so much footage. What am I doing? So it's almost done. Victoria Henley stepped in, and
it is Christmas time, and obviously you've got decorations going on, and
yes.
it's that
and then
time of year.
I was asked back to be a voice in the Knoxville Nativity Pageant.
Yeah, but you love that.
I do.
You love it.
I do, but
it's your fault.
I wore my voice out a little bit because on the Saturday. Oh, we also squeezed in we went to Trans-Siberian Orchestra one night. That was pure fun, just for pleasure.
You have to once in a while.
Yeah. But then for the Nativity Pageant, I do 6 different character voices, which isn't as hard as the guy, Bob Thomas, and Rachel Norman, who read the bulk of the narration, right?
Okay.
It's an hour-long presentation, and they are reading. It's like an audiobook almost. I mean, they could be audiobook narrators. They're that good.
Yeah.
And they read these long passages for the Bible story. But I'm popping in to do the voice of the prophet Isaiah. Behold, a child born unto us, and they will call him Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Prince of Peace. So I'm doing all that. And then Angel Gabriel shows up to tell, basically, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee kind of stuff.
Yeah. Not to, were you trying to go for Sean Connery with that voice?
I did. Well, in my mind, I was going, and I didn't do it right, but in my mind, I was going for Charlton Heston as Moses.
Okay. I could hear that too, but
Behold. No, I slipped into Sean Connery.
Sean Connery is what popped in my head.
Well, so did you not know this, but Sean Connery apparently is a Old Testament prophet. Then for Gabriel, I did him as me because I needed just a base to get back to. Yeah. Because I do Isaiah.
So you do multiple voices.
Then Gabriel, then somebody else, then Gabriel. Yeah, then there's a Centurion, and that's the one where I really messed up my voice because they want him to sound... you have to go to Bethlehem for the purposes of taxation.
So you're really gravelly sounding, and you're
So I'm trying to sound like I think it was.
Chords.
You remember who Meister Burger was from the old 70s, 80s cartoon?
No.
Well, it's one of these Christmas cartoons. I'm picturing these guys. So I'm picturing Meister Burger for the Centurion. And then for the shepherd boy, I've got to sound like a kid. So I'm like going like this after I've stretched out my vocal cords to sound like an old man. let us go to Bethlehem and see this wonderful sign, or whatever it is. And then at the end, I'm one of the wise men, and also evil King Herod. So let me do evil King Herod first.
Okay.
Well, you know who I'm talking about, right? You know the story.
Vaguely.
So the wise men go to Herod and say, we heard that I'll do the wise men. Where is he who was born king of the Jews? And Herod says to them, he asks his astrologers and whatnot, and basically sends them to Bethlehem, but says, come back and tell me where the kid is, because I'm going to kill him. But he says, go and bring back word that I may worship him also. So I did make him really oily and sleazy. But
the way you make your face when you...
I scrunch up my face.
That's really funny.
It's really bizarre. I scrunch up my face. I do all this,
Now, can they see you when you're reading?
No.
Or no? Okay.
Now, we are up in the rafters of the Civic, and there's actors down on the stage who are pantomiming to our voices.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's a huge set, 200 people in the cast, plus there's a huge choir, there's an orchestra, there's, all the people on the committee.
Massive.
I mean, they melt the ice, they put down mulch, they've got donkeys and sheep and a cow and goats walking around. They got all these people dressed as villagers, angels, everybody, kings, the whole story.
Yeah.
And thousands of people come and sit in the audience.
I mean, but it's amazing that they have a cast that large and they don't just have people, I guess, changing costumes throughout so that they can...
They just have enough people. Everyone gets one costume and everyone's in it one time.
I'm just trying to imagine a stage large enough. Or even a backstage area. Because every backstage I have ever been in has been very tiny and cramped. So it's just hard to imagine, like, where do they hang out when it's not their
They
part?
use the locker rooms, the hockey locker rooms.
Oh.
And the makeup station is in the long hallway where the food catering might be. One of the bottom of the stairwell is the donkey. And at the bottom of another stairwell is the sheep. They take over the whole, they got a huge craft services.
I feel like the behind the scenes is as entertaining as the actual show.
Next year, promise me you'll bring the kids next year and I'll give you the full backstage tour.
Oh, that'd be great.
We
can make that happen.
It's very
We'll schedule it now so that we don't overschedule it.
Well, I have to tell you
later.
I'll tell you real quick, the voice for the wise man, from the East, right?
Yeah.
They do, go, where is he that is king of the Jews? Right before I go to his voice, I think about my next door neighbor, who is from Turkey.
Okay.
All right, so I think to myself, Frank, could you take in my mail while I am out of town? Frank, could you keep an eye on the house?
Now, does he know that you try to
Well, I was going to tell him. I was going to tell him because I thought I saw him the other night, and it was Monday night, it was trash night.
Okay.
So Jerry realizes she got home from rehearsal she's going to sing with the Knoxville Choral Society and the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra in the Clayton Holiday Show. So that's like 4 performances and a dress rehearsal. But
oh my goodness.
they rehearse on Monday night, Tuesday night. They're off Wednesday night, which is church choir night.
Okay.
And then they full dress on Thursday, performance on Friday, 2 performances on Saturday, performance on Sunday.
Oh my goodness.
So this is why musicians...
Yeah, they're just so busy.
You don't have time to decorate for Christmas. We don't have time for that. So she decides, I got to bake some of this cracker candy. I got to bake some of this, roast some of these nuts, and I'll give you some if you want to take home.
I don't know what cracker candy is.
Oh, you'll be addicted. I'll tell you that in a second, but realizes she's going to make some of this stuff. I'm like, well, I already took out the garbage. She's, okay. But she had to bring it to people at work who were going on vacation. So there's more garbage. I got this little bag of like the box that the crackers were in.
Yeah.
And where, it's just some detritus, the bag where the chocolate chips were in.
Yeah, you're just taking it out so that you don't miss trash day.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste it. So at 11 o'clock at night, I go out to the garbage can out of the street. Mm-hmm. And it's dark. And I've, basically got on dark-ish clothes. But I'm fiddling in there, and I didn't bring out my phone or my flashlight on the phone. So I'm just doing it by touch. I'm feeling for the garbage bag. Oh, sorry. I'm feeling for the garbage bag, and I'm untying it in the dark, right?
Okay.
And I'm trying to, and that one didn't work, so I threw that one back, and I've got to grab another one. And I'm like,
why didn't you just put it in your garbage can?
They won't take it unless it's bagged.
Okay, but if it's inside the garbage can and then the whole machine just picks up the garbage can, dumps it.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes the guys reach in by hand. I don't know why they do it. Sometimes
really? They don't have that little machine that like...
some of their trucks have the machine, but not all of their trucks.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes they just... I signed up with a smaller trash company, and I was the first one in my neighborhood to sign up for it.
Okay.
So now, since then, the houses, like all the houses on my side of the street have changed over to this trash company. So what they'll do is they'll park in front of Nancy's house or Ted's house, and they'll run over and just start grabbing, get all three of us at once.
Oh, so
They do this at 4 in the morning.
The city.
No, I live outside the city.
Oh, okay.
So we have to pay for garbage.
Gotcha.
So it's different rules.
Definite perks for living inside city limits.
Right. Like if I wanted to do recycling, you have to pay extra for that.
Oh.
So Nancy pays for that. So if I have recycling, I just... Anyway.
Work smarter, Frank. Work smarter.
So I'm out there, and the first garbage bag I can't untie, and I have it like in the garbage in a little Kroger bag, but I want to put it in the main garbage bag.
But it technically would have already been in its own little bag. Technically.
But I felt weird about it because I'm the one who has to deal with it if it goes wrong. So I want to make work smarter, Becca. Okay. So I'm putting it in the big bag. Anyway, I'm doing that 11 o'clock at night, and here comes this car tearing up the street, and I know who drives like that. It's next door neighbor driving his little sports car.
Who now will not be named.
He comes pulling up, and I'm like, I always like to talk to him because he's a cello player. He's interesting. He's an artist. He does things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there he is. I'll talk to him. But he comes. It's like Batman returning to the Batcave. He pulls into his driveway. The garage door is going up. He pulls into the driveway, and it's like he barely slowed down. I mean,
he's got it timed out. He knows.
Based on my perception of standing there opening the garbage, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, "Hey, let's chat. Merry Christmas!" And he pulls into the garage, and the garage door starts coming down immediately.
He did not want to talk.
Like immediately, like before.
You also said this was like 11 o'clock at night.
It was 11 o'clock at night.
I was coming home at 11 o'clock at night. I don't want to talk to anybody else either.
But it's me.
I love you, Frank, but no. I would probably hit that button too before I even got out of the car.
So I was convinced that by the time I got back in the house, I was going to get a text from him saying, "There is a strange man going through your garbage." Because he's always the one who always calls me and says, my Ring doorbell alarm has gone off. Would you go check out the house? It's like nothing, it's like the wind.
Yeah, like a squirrel ran by.
He's always a little edgy about stuff like that. So I thought I might have scared him.
That's also possible. You said you were wearing dark clothes.
I was.
You should get one of those like headlamp flashlights. My husband has that for any time he has to go outside, so that way he can do everything hands-free.
You've got a point,
Yeah.
because I always thought of that as being an old man thing, but now that I realize...
My husband has been using that the entire time I've known him, and we've known each other since college.
And the headlamp. The Cherokee Caverns, they all have them, obviously.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not expensive. We've gone through many, because my kids also think they're cool and want to play with them, and then they love breaking flashlights.
Oh, well, speaking of Cherokee Caverns, I'll put in a plug for we did an event there with Dr. Bass and Bone Zones, and I have some extra, if you would like, I have an extra candle from September Moon Candle Company. This is the Frozen Bones candle. I don't know what it's supposed to smell like.
Let's find out.
It doesn't, my bones, it smells kind of wintry, right? Like Christmassy?
It smells kind of homey and warm and kind of almost cookie-ish.
Well, here's the ones we did at the Halloween episode.
Smell it. It's kind of like cookie baked goods-ish.
So here's another one. This is from Bats and Bones. This is from the Halloween one. It does smell different.
Yeah, that one's a little sweeter.
Do you like candles, or is it?
I like candles, but I also don't light candles in my house because I have small children.
Yeah, your twins will totally knock these over and set the house on fire.
Yeah. No, so I have candles for if we ever had like a power outage emergency situation where we needed them. We certainly have candles in the house, but I keep them far away from the kids.
Well, at bonezones.com, don't forget the S, you can get great merchandise like the Dr. Bill Bass groupie hat.
Oh, nice.
Or one of these Body Farm t-shirts.
How does that look?
Oh, look at you. Oh, it goes well with your outfit. Very Morticia.
Because that's what I was going for today.
Well, I meant that as a compliment. I thought Morticia's beautiful. I mean, come on. The original Morticia, Carolyn Jones on the Addams Family?
I mean, I vaguely remember seeing it when I was
You know who
little.
plays Morticia on the new Wednesday?
I have heard such good things about that show, and I have not seen it yet. Which streaming service is it on?
Netflix.
Okay, good, because we have them all now. Peacock was running a special on Black Friday for 99 cents for a month for 12 months, so I'm like, that's the one we didn't have, now we have it.
They gave me free Peacock if I took one of their stupid boxes. Yeah.
What do you mean, their boxes?
Well, I'll get to that after the commercial for bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. Where you can get the Body Farm t-shirt, and you can also all the list on the back, all the different books. We got Dr. Bass did the fine event there, and also I think we've got the souvenir skulls.
I'm such a mom, I have to fold it properly because you just didn't.
That. I can't. I mean, I can try, but it fails. This is the gold skull, which is, I also have a silver one in here.
That's really heavy.
It's a paperweight.
Well, that explains why it's heavy.
Right. We have some other ones that are resin, and they are available in what's called natural color.
Like bone color? Okay.
Yeah. And he signs those across the
This reminds me of something. I'll tell you about
the
it.
Super Orbital Ridge. And you can get all the books, the signed books, like Death's Acre, which is the nonfiction book, signed by Bill Bass and John Jefferson.
Oh, nice.
Or by just Bill Bass for some of them. Anyway, all the Jefferson Bass books, bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. And when you call them, the way you order it is you either send them an email or you call them on the phone, and you can arrange for a pickup. You can get it in time for Christmas. So if you got a fan of, Human Decay on your holiday list.
Or, if you're a big fan of Halloween and you just can't quite put up your Christmas decorations, like I noticed driving over here today.
Oh.
Everyone has seen on social media the memes of the people who don't want to put down their giant skeleton in their yard, so they dress them up to make them festive for the holidays.
See,
you have a neighbor that did that.
I didn't realize it was a thing because
it's a thing.
2 doors down, that's Shanna. She used to work at the Tennessee Valley Fair.
Okay.
And she's got this beautiful side business where she makes stuff. Like she makes hot cocoa bombs and sells them.
Oh yeah, so she does Etsy and or she just goes to different fairs and has does
artsy things, makes signs and flags and.
I'm so jealous of people like that. I wish I had the time to create something and be able to make it a side hustle.
So for Halloween they put up the what is it, 20-foot skeleton?
Yeah.
Or 12-foot skeleton? What is it?
I think it's a 12-foot.
Well, it's tall enough.
But it looks 20 feet.
It's tall enough that I was able to walk over to it and we pretended I looked up and held my hand like it was my daddy.
Why have I not seen that photo?
It's on Jerry's phone. It must be that bad that she won't.
Or she just got too busy with all of her singing engagements that she didn't get around to posting.
We took it for Halloween. The intention was to send it to the grandkids.
Oh.
Here's
you'll have to remind her to text it to me because I want to see that.
And well, if I can find it, I'll even drop it into the show.
Yeah, that would be great.
If I don't look too fat. Next to a skeleton, you're going to look fat next to a skeleton. Well, so they left it up. And like you said, they put...
Yeah, they put it looks like a Santa jacket on it.
And a hat.
Yeah, and there's a hat.
Candy cane.
And a candy cane.
But...
No pants. Mr. Skeleton has no pants.
Well, that's so you can identify whether he's a boy or a girl.
But now that you've just said that she's creative and she can make the things, I feel like she could make the pants. I get that it's hard to dress a 20-foot skeleton.
That might have to be the title of this episode. She could make the pants.
Right? She's creative enough. She can do that.
Well, all right. So then it's holding a candy cane in one hand, right?
Yeah.
At night, they have an inflatable Christmas tree.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see, obviously daytime. I didn't see that.
At night, the inflatable Christmas tree, which has a light inside of it, comes up and it floats and it fills up. And at that point, it appears the way his hand is. It appears that he's putting the star on top of the inflatable Christmas tree.
Okay, that's really cool.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna have to come troll your neighborhood at night for Christmas lights.
It's nice. It's nice. I thought this was just my local neighborhood.
No.
But a guy in Ohio, comedian Matt Ward, who used to live in Knoxville, now is a real estate and comedian in Ohio, put on Facebook, shout out to the people who bought that 12-foot tall skeleton for Halloween and left it up in their yard and just put a Santa hat on it and hung Christmas lights from the arms. Yeah. That's in Ohio.
Yeah, but if you go on social media, there are memes and pictures of people who do this all over the place. I mean, I feel like, I don't know the exact price point of these giant skeletons, but it's got to be a couple $100s. And if you spend that much money on a decoration,
get your mileage.
You, like me, can be pretty frugal. It's you want your money's worth, right? So instead of making it a 1-month decoration, it's now a 3-month decoration, and that's a lot easier to spend the money on.
Well, do you do decorations like that? I mean, fancy Halloween?
If I allowed my husband,
do you do Halloween?
We would have a Griswold house. I have to rein him in. And it's not that I'm anti-Christmas lights or anything like that. We have a beautifully decorated yard.
But Griswold is to the extreme degree where it's not even attractive anymore.
Exactly. So but he would want to go that way. So anyway, I had to pull him back. And our house is very tastefully done. He actually created an old-timey wooden sign with I love 101 Dalmatians. So there's 3 Dalmatians that says joy, and he handmade this. He made this projector thing to trace it out on the wood, and then he cut it out and he hand painted it and did it's this beautiful decoration. And then we have like some like Christmas tree things. This year he decided to add like some candy cane lights to like our kind of like the front porch area.
And you've got the kids who can really appreciate. They're at the age where they're just going to remember this forever.
And then this year, I forget the name of them. The old fashioned type Christmas decoration, yard Christmas decorations they're plastic. They're not the blow up kind, because I don't like that they just lay.
Yeah, it looks weird when they're
flaccid in the yard.
That's the word. That's the right word.
When the lights aren't on. And we have them timed every night. They're only on 4 hours a night. So it's this Mickey.
You'd rather have them turgid, which I believe is the opposite of flaccid.
I didn't know that. Turgid. Okay.
I can Google it.
So we have a Mickey and a Minnie now. And then, so one day, like, we come out and the Christmas lights aren't working. And we find that it looks like they've been cut. Like, I blast on social media, I'm like, we have a real Grinch in our neighborhood cutting Christmas lights. And it was on both sides of the driveway.
We saw your post, and my
wife...
We were
so mad about it. So I get a call.
My wife got upset about this, too.
Right,
did the news call you?
They didn't call us.
Okay.
But as it turns out, my husband later decides, he's like, I've been Googling it. I think it was bunnies. And I'm like, why would bunnies chew through the Christmas...
Wouldn't they die?
Apparently not.
Okay.
But apparently it's a thing that rabbits will chew Christmas lights, and because we were looking at all of the other neighbors' houses, none of them have been messed with.
So look, like there's some Christmas lights in here that would just chew through the wire.
Yeah, they just chew through the wire.
Do they think it's Easter grass?
Well, I don't know, because it's just the wire. It doesn't have the garland around it.
Okay.
So, but my husband Googles it. It's apparently a thing, and there is bunny repellent spray for Christmas lights.
It smells like wolf urine, probably.
I have no idea.
That's generally speaking what you use to get rid of deer and other...
I don't know, but so it gets worse. So my husband, he goes through this whole thing. We decide at this point, like, we have the older...
You have a dog, right?
No, not anymore.
Oh.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sorry.
He was a well-loved part of the family for 15 and a half years.
Sorry.
Thanks, Frank. Thank you.
How am I supposed to come out of an up-tempo record and talk about a dog dying?
So back to my husband's war on bunnies, because sicking the dog on him is not an option.
Forgot.
So my husband goes to the store, he buys new lights, he goes and he replaces them all in and everything like this, and then,
sprays them with...
sprays them down with the bunny repellent. And of course, it's been raining, it's...
Yeah.
Constantly.
They get washed off.
So, like, 2 days later. I mean, and he is about ready to get his bow and arrow and just sit outside waiting. So
now he's turned into Cousin Eddie. He's gone from Clark.
Absolutely. And he was just like, and you cannot even bring up bunnies around him. And then he got the kids worked up. Because he told the kids, it's the bunnies. And then now the kids want to go chase the bunnies. And
definitely bunnies, not squirrels, not other rodentia we have in our neighborhood.
Yeah, so we once again replaced the wire, the Christmas lights yet again. And he sprayed the repellent yet again. He's going to have to do it after today's rain.
Oh my goodness.
And so that's where we're at, but he is just muttering about bunnies. He's like an old man.
So now he's turned into Bill Murray in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, about the bunnies. And I'm just like, I feel like, one night I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and he's not going to be...
Not Groundhog Day. What's the movie?
Caddyshack. And he was chasing the groundhog. I was right there with you, Frank. It's fine. But yeah, I feel like I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and the bed's going to be empty next to me and I'm going to find him just sitting out on the porch, just going, acting like Elmer Fudd,
He's hunting wabbits.
Exactly. So this has been the ongoing saga this season with our Christmas lights. But when they are all on, they look very nice. He does a very good job curating our yard.
When do you take them down?
We usually take them down the week between Christmas and New Year's. It kind of depends on the weather and what else we have planned. So sometimes they'll stay up till the weekend after New Year's. Sometimes it'll be the week. It kind of depends on when does New Year's fall. This year it falls on a weekend, so chances are that's going to come down
the following weekend.
Right on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Oh my.
So because it's on the weekend.
Well, see, a lot of people pull them down December 26th. And in our situation, obviously I mentioned that when my wife and I being excited to participate in community Christmas events that take us through November, December, and when she finishes with these concerts, Christmas will at that point be 6 days away.
Okay.
So she finally gets 6 days before Christmas is when we finally get a little bit of a breather, but not really, because she's singing on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
She's singing at the 4 p.m., the 10 p.m. I think we might just go to the midnight mass, and then she's singing at 8 a.m. on Christmas Day.
Oh.
So she's whatever. So really, she's doesn't get a break.
No.
But she's good at singing, and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
It's like me. I can't. I hate to go to an event and just sit there sometimes when I know, I could be one of those people in the costume walking around pretending it's Bethlehem. You know, it's tough.
It's like you want to be actively participating instead of watching.
It's hard. It's hard. Well, because of that, we generally will, leave our decorations up longer because we haven't had them up since Thanksgiving.
You haven't gotten to enjoy them.
Some people put them up at Halloween. I mean, literally.
Ours were up the week before Thanksgiving this year because we actually had family in town for the first time in years this Thanksgiving. So my husband had the lights on the week before Thanksgiving.
See, that's lovely. We had for Thanksgiving we had Catherine Frady and her husband James come over, and it was sort of a last minute invitation because it's a sad story. I'll tell it the details of it another time. But we had to quickly on Thanksgiving morning put away all of the Halloween-y things and switch it out. So, and literally today, this was a Thanksgiving tablecloth. It might still be under there. No. There was a Thanksgiving tablecloth on here, which she swapped out this morning at 6 in the morning. So to have this. So we're kind of, this is the most Christmassy the place has looked so far.
I was going to say, it felt festive when I walked in.
That's for you. Aww. It was all done for you, like we did last minute, flip over from Halloween to Thanksgiving at the last minute for Catherine and James.
So what you really need is like a reason to get things done.
Oh, yeah. So if you watch the episode with Gene Masters, which we recorded at the end of November, you can see the Thanksgiving setup. Yeah, that stayed in place for the next 2 weeks.
That's fine.
So
we all have busy lives. We know how that is.
But we will definitely push it and keep the Christmas stuff up as much all the way through Christmas Tide.
Explain to me Christmas Tide.
Christmas Tide is the 40 days after Christmas, because if you really get into it, technically, we are not yet in the Christmas season. The Advent season runs for the 4 weeks prior to Christmas, and then on Christmas Day you flip over into the Christmas season. So Christmas begins on December 25, and then you have the 12 days of Christmas beginning then.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you have the 12, so that's
learn something new every day.
That's specifically Christmas is those 12 days, which takes you up through what's called the Epiphany, which is when we have come to worship him. The wise men show up on the Epiphany. It's when the revelation, the rest of the world, besides the people in Bethlehem, have this epiphany, this realization that there is the Christ child is there. So that's usually around January 6th, and sometimes it's on. But nowadays they round it off to the Sunday closest. We celebrate it on the Sunday closest. Okay. But in some of the Orthodox cultures, they don't have Christmas until January 6th. That's when they open their gifts. Oh. And in some Latin American cultures, they celebrate Three Kings Day on January 6th, and it's a gift exchange day because what did the kings do?
They brought gifts.
Boom. So but then Christmas Tide goes 40 days. The 40 is a lot of things. You have 40 days of Lent. You got 40 days of Easter. You got all these 40s. Yeah. So the 40 days of Christmas takes you to Candlemas. Okay. And that's always February 2nd, which is why Groundhog Day, they deliberately put it on Candlemas because if you also do the math, the winter would be roughly 90 days, right? Each season is roughly 90 days. Yes. So if Christmas falls, let's say 5 days after the start of winter, add 40 to that. Now you're 45 days into winter. It's the halfway point of winter, which is a perfect time to have a Groundhog Day. And that's when the Christmas Tide ends. It's called the presentation of the Lord to the temple, Okay. My sleeves.
I'm learning so much from
that's our excuse. So when our Christmas decorations are up till Groundhog Day, that's why.
Just excited to celebrate groundhogs. Yes.
Well, I don't know if you have time to do another show. We can do that, and I can feed you some of that cracker candy.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I can definitely. The key word in there is candy.
All right. Well, it is the Frank and Friends show. Please do subscribe on YouTube. Ring the bell for notifications if you would. Thank you kindly. And tell your friends, help us get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Also subscribe on the audio podcast apps. And if you love audio entertainment of all kinds, try audible.com, where you can get a free 30-day trial by using our code. Go to audibletrial.com/FrankenFriendsShow, and during that 30 days of a premium membership, you get all the benefits of premium membership, which includes your monthly MP3 download that you keep forever. You download it and just keep it on your own device.
Yep.
Take advantage of that during the 30 days. Find a great audiobook to listen to. I mean, Gene Masters was telling you can get his book as an audiobook on there. Whatever your topic that interests you. They do custom audio entertainment. They've got our podcast and all the other podcasts on there.
Yeah.
So check it out, audibletrial.com/FrankenFriendsShow.
Yeah.
And then also, when you sign up for that 30 days, you're supporting us.
Yes.
Yeah, you.
Too.
All right. Becca, cheers to you. We'll go refill.
Salud.
We'll go refill the glasses and be back with another exciting Christmas-themed episode. It is the Frank and Friends Show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Becca James.
And we'll talk to you again next time.